With 2024 finally behind us, what are the 5 best heroes that you should main in 2025 to dominate the new meta and quickly climb the ladder like you never have before? We're gonna waste no time and jump into the first one, Phoenix. Phoenix is a character that has been an absolute all-star ever since his buffs that happened a little while back, where he's going to be the most reliable ranked solo carry character in the entire game. No matter what elo you're in, Phoenix is a threat that needs to be respected and gives you answers to many of the complex problems of ranked. You need to clear out a cubby. You have a molly for that. You take some splash damage from random things. You can heal yourself up. Do you have something that is proactive that allows you to close games out? You do. You have your ultimate that can be generated very quickly, and you can build entire game plans around it, including retake situations, diffuse situations, or executing onto site. Having something that strong that you can build a gameplay around is super strong because most of the time players are just being completely random with how they're engaging and how they're going about rounds, and Phoenix gives you a really easy game plan that you can follow to secure rounds almost guaranteed. Now, I'd also point out that Phoenix's flashes can be so freaking hard to dodge. Just make sure that you're not using them all the way throughout the corner. You don't want to allow your opponent a ton of time to turn on it. Ideally, you want to make sure that it peeks out of the corner right when it pops so that the opponents have zero time to react to it, and you're going to be able to get a really easy swing kill. Now, while this character does require high levels of mechanical skill, it's also important to have a good read of what is happening over the course of the fight. You need to know what utility to save, what utility to use, how to shut down certain abilities and ultimates, and how to properly make micro decisions throughout the course of a game. And one of the things that can really help is being able to read enemy movements, which we cover in our SkillCapped wall hacks course. From ultimate use to abilities and timing, being able to predict exactly what the opponent is doing on Phoenix allows you to make a game plan to completely shut it down and set you up for the most optimal plays every single round. We've helped so many players improve their game sense dramatically, morphing them into an entirely different player so they can pop off on literally any single character, and it's gonna make it so that your mechanics aren't so taxed needing to hit every single headshot. You're still winning games in spite of that. And with our rank improvement money back guarantee, if you don't climb, you don't pay. So what are you waiting for? Check it out right now in the links down below. Now, the next character that we definitely got to suggest picking up in 2025 is Astra. Ever since Astra got 5 stars back, she's been secretly super powerful, and not enough people have been playing her because we haven't seen a ton of tournaments, and we don't really see exactly what the meta is until these tournaments come out. But now that they are happening, we get to see just how powerful Astra really is. On top of that, with Neon meta slowly disappearing with the massive Neon nerfs, now Paranoia isn't 100% needed. It's still strong. Omen is still a great character, but Astra really is a difference maker in so many rounds, capable of setting up a lot of free peeks and joint execute plays with her suck and stun. And overall, she's just a really efficient character at creating small advantages throughout the course of a game and a round. And on top of that, we do got to talk about her ultimate being just a very strong ultimate that I think a lot of people are misusing, mainly because they are just splitting in a way that allows the opponents to walk onto site for free, because it cuts off sound and line of sight. Like, you got to be very careful about where you place the wall and also recognize what gaps you're leaving, because you could leave gaps intentionally as long as you set up stars or some form of utility to cut it off and deny it. But if you leave a little gap or a corner cubby where someone can hide in, that can be an easy way for your entire team to freaking die. So it's a double-edged sword. You got to be a little careful, but you could also set up some of this stuff for yourself too if you get really tricky about it. Now, the next character that we would highly suggest maining in 2025 has to freaking be Sova. I really do think that Sova is still just the all-star of most of 2024, and it's gonna be the all-star going into 2025. It's hard to not pick this character because it's just so good at everything you would want out of an initiator, especially an info initiator. Now, I think now more than ever, if you're committed to Sova, you really do need to learn lineups. I know that that can be a bit daunting for you, but there are so many important lineups to learn for retakes, for contesting, that you just gotta learn them. Like, if you're not learning them, I don't really think you should commit to this character. There are a ton of characters you can learn without the lineups, but Sova's a character that if you can't do certain lineups, you are gonna be literally ineffective in some situations where another Sova in your position could just literally knowledge gap and win the round, and that's the last thing that you want. Now, something that changed due to pinging changes: when you are ulting, you want your teammates to ping for elevation during your ult. This could be like a small adjustment change that you should get used to, but if you have a duo partner, you can have them ping while you are actively passively ulting so it can make it a little bit easier. Now understand that one of the most frustrating things about Sova is when your teammates are going before you're ready. So you're setting up a lineup or you're trying to drone and your teammates are just running in. They don't care about your utility and they just die, or they just dash on the site and go before you're even ready. And I would say that you need to either, one, communicate. If that doesn't work, which realistically it probably won't, you need to match your pace of play to what is reasonable. Like, throw out a dart, any dart that's quick enough. Don't drone if your teammates aren't going to use it. Use it for a post-plant situation. Try to be adaptable with your abilities. Don't just think of like the perfect situation. Think about the real one that you're living in your games, because otherwise you're just wasting it. You're screaming to play proper, but it's not going to get you the dub in the moment. You have to be more adaptable if you want to succeed in random elos. Now, the next character we got to talk about is Killjoy. And I know that Cypher saw quite a bit of play at the end of 2024, but one of the biggest things that he could shut down was Neon. Neon was taking over a lot of games, a lot of lobbies, but Killjoy is actually worse at shutting down Neon than Cypher was by a big margin. And it's not saying that Cypher's unplayable. He's still good and perfectly reasonable on certain maps, but the stock of Killjoy has gone up as one of the core threats he is less than optimal to deal with, isn't going to be as prevalent in the meta. Killjoy is also just generally one of the strongest characters in the game with really powerful utility that can punish players for, well, not playing perfectly into her and not understanding rotations, and generally just playing into her at all. And I think that the lower in rank you are, the better and better she gets. But the thing about Killjoy is that she's still good no matter what elo you're in. I think in the lower elos of play, you could just get free rounds off of her, or people just avoid her entirely, which can get you a ton of value, by the way, because you can stack the other sites. And then later on, even when people get good at shutting her down, they have to work through so many different amounts of your utility, from your turret to your mollies to your ability to play off your alarm bot. There's a lot you can do on Killjoy, and I think if you compound that with great aim and just smart decision making, you can just be a menace where you're silently carrying game after game. It doesn't matter if you're necessarily racking up all the kills, if you're carrying behind the scenes. And I do think that Killjoy, all in all, is probably one of the best characters that I would suggest you picking up if you don't necessarily want to fight on the mechanics only side of the game, but you want to be more tactical. Killjoy really enables that more than any other character in the game. Now, my last suggestion is the true wild card, but I think it's the character that if you master, you can literally carry any lobby, and it's Yoru. We know that Yoru's win rate directly scales with the rank you're in. He has a pretty low win rate in the lowest ranks to play, but all the way up in Radiant, he has some of the highest win rates that you could have out of every single character, and that just shows that this is a character that is kind of a way of life. You have to really commit to Yoru. If you want to become someone that is gonna have crazy high impact in every one of your games, has the capability of carrying, can entry onto site, can flash onto site, can make plays, can clutch up. There's so much that Yoru can do, but you have to become a master of this character. You can't just dabble. You can't just flex to Yoru. You really need to become someone that truly lives and breathes Yoru, because once you get good enough, you can carry, you can pop off, but he requires high aim. He requires good understanding. He requires awareness of where your TP is versus where the opponents are, what's going on, information. Should I teleport over, go plant? There's a lot of decisions you have to make on this character, but it's a character that is worth learning and worth mastering. And I think now more than ever, you should pick up and commit to Yoru in 2025. If that sounds interesting and fun to you, then this might be the character that you should pick up, the character that you commit to, play him until you get good at him, and really then you can carry. But if you're not willing to commit, I would not suggest picking this character. Pick one of the other characters that are easier to learn. You're going to get value right away with Phoenix. You don't have to learn all this stuff. You're not going to int and feed and make plays that actually throw the game or throw the round or get yourself killed. You're not going to make those plays on other characters like you will on Yoru. So it's a hard journey, but I think it's a journey that's worth going on if you are someone that this sounds exciting to. Now, that being said, if you want to get better and you want to get great aim, you definitely need to check out our Aim God course on the SkillCapped website. And we have so many other guides that are designed to help you improve, and with our rank improvement money back guarantee, if you don't climb, you don't pay. So check it out right now in the links down below, and I'll see you next time.